Okay, everybody. Hi, Lynn Schaeffer.
Hello, Thomas Miller.
We don't have anybody live yet, but we'll have some on the replay. So, hey, guys, we're going to wait a minute. This is a pop up, just a jam session, if you will. Thought we would do it. We were talking earlier this afternoon and said, what can we do to spice things up a little bit? And this is what came of it. So, what we're going to do here is this is totally just a jam session. So, if you guys would like to, anybody would like to jump in here, I may have to step over here and get my other glasses because I'm going to have to look at you guys from the bottom of these. Um, you know what? I think I'm going, yeah, that's all right. Um,
I look like I'm really bright.
oh, you know what? That
What?
link pop is not going to work in Facebook. So it doesn't put it in there. I'll put it on here and there. So it's in the Facebook chat now and it's in the YouTube chat. So anybody who wants to just jump in here with us and powwow, thought we might talk about a couple of things that we've seen, but just jump on in. You can jump on the link and that will put you in. We can have up to 10 people in here at a time. So this is kind of like Level Up / Zoom at the same time. How about that? That's cool.
Yeah,
So,
everybody join in.
yeah, kind of this is just for us to talk. So one of the things I saw in the group chat there on Facebook was let's see if I can see it specifically.
Hi, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa, how you doing? Let me just see here. Oh, Leah Stevens Thompson. Curious how your day was today, and this was 13 hours ago, so I'm presuming that was maybe when it got posted. I don't know. But hello, Tom. Can you hear us okay? Hello, hello.
Hey, Tom.
I don't think we have you. Keep working on it. You can go to the audio settings there, right down below, right below your lower picture. And oh, here we go. Hi, Mary. Hey, Mary, I want to catch up on you. How you doing? And just make sure the right mic is on there, Tom. Go to the settings and then the audio tab. So,
Oh, Melissa. So glad to hear that.
isn't that great?
Yeah.
So let me see when this, yeah, Mercury square Uranus tomorrow night. That's what I thought. Oh, so Leah's comment here. I'm curious how your day was today, and I'm guessing that was yesterday. I felt like a little like Mercury retrograde. See, I mentioned, I don't know if I said this today on Fun Astrology or tomorrow, but exactly this, that it was like kind of like a little mini Mercury retrograde here. Type of day with miscommunication and feelings of anxiety, but it was coming from her clients. And she says, I think since I don't have to feel like that, so that's for sure. So, hi, Kathleen. Tom will work on his stuff. Tom, if you just come back in, well, you can get your computer working and know that it's working and then come back in. Hey, Kristen. So, so I've been in the middle of this move and I've got my little punch list and I got my little thing, and there's only me and one person on the destination side and the realtor that are involved in all of this. And so there's not a lot of noise, but today was a Mercury retrograde day. And it started right from the time I got up because the payment, for some reason, the credit card that I have on file for the podcasts didn't go through. So they're saying, your account is suspended. I'm like, what? Thanks for the advance notice. But anyway, I just popped another card in. It went through and everything was fine. But that's how the day began. But here was the thing that I was thinking about that, and I'm going to mute you guys until we talk here, or you can mute yourselves. The this is what kind of I thought about, Lynn, because when we start talking about astrology, so Mercury and Uranus come to a square, a 90-degree aspect in the sky tomorrow night, late. So we're baking in that energy a couple of days before it, right? So, and then the point was, well, that is kind of like this little mini Mercury retrograde because you're dealing with the two tricksters. And just when I was getting ready for this tonight, I thought, here's the deal. It's not that Mercury and Uranus do anything. They're just out there floating around in gravitationally less space, right? But what's amazing about astrology is that somehow, somewhere, somebody along the line figured out that there seems to be this connection between where those planets are moving in the sky and these energies that affect us here on Earth, right? So what we're talking about is the energy of trickster. And you have Mercury as a lower octave of trickster, more prankster, and Uranus is, the serious business team. Like we're going to really surprise. And that's just energy. And when these two are in this square aspect, it just shows us that that energy is more prone to show up. So it's not that the planets don't do anything. They reflect. What do they reflect? They reflect these energies that are in our lives, in the human experience. So Saturn can be loss, or it can be structure and foundation. Mars can be aggression, or it can be firepower, get it done, lift it up. So I just thought that was kind of a cool analogy and reflection as we're looking at some of these things. And that's where when everything's cruising along fine and then bam, well, that energy shifted just an ever so little bit. And now it's more amplified, and then it'll go away, and then it'll come back, and it'll go away. It's just all a dance, isn't it? So.
Well, and I was going to say too, a trickster could be looked at as something funny, fun. A lot of people
Yeah.
So if we put that spin on it, maybe it could be a lighthearted trickster.
Maybe so. Well, let's talk to Melissa. Ladies first, Tom. Sorry. We'll get to you in just a sec. Stay in the queue. How are you, Melissa?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
No,
Good.
well, doing
good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
You're looking good.
The past 3 days has been very, very high vibe energy and lots of synchronizations and lots of, I guess you can call them downloads have been happening. So yeah, good times.
Well, good.
Tell us about your downloads.
Yeah.
Getting lots of messages and seeing people in my dreams and helping and guiding me through some of the difficulties that I'm having right now. And people that are alive are coming in my dreams, and then people who have crossed over are showing up and sending me messages. And the interesting thing is I don't ever see their face, but I can feel their energy and see like the backs of their heads or the sides of them, but I know who it is.
Well, that's cool.
So what's the overall feeling you get from having those experiences?
It's very calming and very much telling me to stay connected to source and that I'm on the right path and to keep following those breadcrumbs. Oh, thank you. She said happy early birthday. Yes, my birthday is Saturday. So that's the other reason I know my mom's coming through very, very strong because my birthday is on Saturday. So much just staying in that flow state, which is very difficult to do when your whole world is going crazy on the outside, to stay grounded and take those breaths and practice all the things that we know to do. When you're in the chaos, it's extremely hard to do that. But when you can do it, it's actually a very beautiful thing. And you can step away and find those little glimmers and the takeaways. And then it just makes things a little easier to digest.
Showing you that you're supported too. Yeah. Beautiful. Wow. That's awesome.
It's been cool.
look at this from Mary. I knew she had been having some challenges, but let's read this. That she's dealing with some heart issues and having a test tomorrow, and then some decisions. So, Mary, we're certainly thinking about you.
And I love that last statement, Mary. Have a lot more to accomplish in this lifetime. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Pacemaker.
That would be rhythm.
Yeah.
And Mary, if you want to pop on, feel free. And you can pop on without a camera too. You just use your computer audio. This is just loose, just a jam session. So somebody else in our Facebook group had a question about something to do with her heart. It was a couple of days ago, and I'm not thinking very clearly, so I'm sorry. Chet caught one for me. I put for today that Venus enters Pluto. How did I come up with that? Venus enters Aquarius. So we got that straight, but it was a near miss. But I'm just throwing stuff. I don't know. I didn't send Lynn the link to this. I had to go deal with something else. So it's like, but we're getting through it. If I could show you the piles down here behind me, that's all the stuff that's getting ready to go in the van. That was a wall of moving boxes until yesterday, and then I replaced it with all the stuff that is going into the van in certain degrees of accessibility. So I'm going to tow a trailer, and some of it will go in a trailer, and some of it will go in the van. But that's kind of what, so living in chaos. It's just interesting, but we're getting through it, about halfway through. So.
How many days are you going to be driving, Thomas?
Well, I'm not going to push it. And I have some people that I want to try to, intersect if they're on the way. So, like I'm trying to make decisions on that. I have a cousin who is 86, 87, 88. He's my second cousin. He was my mom's first cousin. And he's about 2.5 hours up the road, but not on the way. Do I go see him, or do I just call and say, I'm taking off? And then I have several places that I could go. And then I'm going to intersect with my brother, who is coming back from Florida. And since I didn't get to go down there, I'm going to intersect with him either along the way, which will be I-10, which is down, of course, by the coast, or I'll just meet him in Dallas. But I've got some stuff that I'm giving him, so we've got to get together. So it's just I don't know. I'm just going to go where it feels right at that moment. I'm not pre-planning the trip. But I am going to go about 45 miles west of here and do a little video from standing on my Venus line, like right on it, based on that new Astro Gold program that shows exactly the neighborhood. I mean, you can go into an intersection and there's your line. It's like, it's so cool. So no other program has that. So it's not like, well, this is about where it is. No, it's like the line is on this intersection, and their map is very accurate. I cross-checked it to 2 other sources, and it's very accurate. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to go do that. And then I'll be 10.5 miles from the Jupiter line in the other destination in California. So pretty wild.
Good things.
Pretty wild. Tom, how are you?
Doing good. When you're talking about your astrocartography, I looked that up. I don't know what app you're using, but I just used the Google one, the one that you look on Google. And my Jupiter and Venus cross in Wichita, Kansas. And I've never considered going there, but that's apparently it's like X marks the spot right there. So
for your which two?
It's isn't it Jupiter and Venus? Isn't that what you said?
Oh, do you have both crossing?
Yes, both of them cross at Wichita.
Wow.
I guess that's not always the case. Sometimes they just never intersect.
That would be, to me, not impossible, but that would be unusual, I would say.
Ah, cool.
Um,
You might have to go to Kansas, Tom.
I had my Mars cross.
Do you think it, Thomas? Do you think it's possible that that's incorrect?
Are you on Android or iPhone?
Android. And I don't know
Okay.
which website to use. I just used astrocartography. I Googled it and there's like a program to run it on. So I have no idea if that's accurate or not, because that's the only thing I could
Yeah.
go off with.
You know, because I cross-checked this. I mean, I own every major astrology software, and I cross-checked this with all of them over the weekend because when they announced this new program for Astro Gold, but it's only for the iPhone. But I downloaded it and I kept zooming in and kept zooming in and kept zooming in, and I'm like, holy cow! You can go into a neighborhood, and with that, it shows a map just like Google Maps. So you can find an intersection, and the street names are even on it. So you can find, okay, here's Alpha Drive and here's Beta Road, and where they intersect, there's your line coming through there. And so I know I can go to that line and stand at that intersection and take a picture, and that's right where it is. And that database matched exactly to astro.com. So, well,
Okay.
not exactly, but really close. The problem is astro.com doesn't zoom in quite that far. Nobody else does.
So astro.com is a reliable source
It is. Yeah.
to use it? Because I want to write
Very-
that down and make sure I double check this then.
And
Yeah.
Thomas,
Astro.com. And
I don't want to go to Wichita, Kansas if it doesn't mean anything.
Thomas,
you can get into the airplane business. Cessna's headquarters is there.
when I was in Florida and saw you and we did my chart,
Yeah.
my Mars right through Denver, and I told you I've been to Denver 3 different times and I was physically sick every single time. The first time I thought it was altitude sickness, and then the second time I'm like, okay, this can't be a coincidence, and the third time my body physically had like sicknesses every single time I went. I even did extra oxygen that third time I
Wow.
before, during, and after the trip. So that was one of the only things I experienced. It was negative. And then my Venus goes right through Madeira Beach in St. Pete, which, you know, that's like my favorite place in the world to be. So, yeah, I love that program. I think it's amazing.
Which line goes through Denver?
My Mars.
Mars. Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Now that's something else. So Caroline is in here. Hey, Caroline. Yeah, I think I just did. I'm dribbling it out, and there's a reason, because I just want to keep it, and then we'll let it go. And then while I'm traveling, it's going to be just all video all the time. So I'm going to do a lot, and I'm just going to memorialize the whole thing. So you'll see a lot of it, see a lot of the trip. I've got, guys, I'm going to go change glasses. Hang on just a second. I can't see all with these progressive lenses. Just looking at a big blur. Oh, there we go. Hey, that looks like Melissa. Now I can see you. Oh boy.
Are your
Let's see.
progressives new?
Hmm?
Are your progressives new? Or
No.
no?
No.
Oh.
I don't keep up with it very much. As long as I can see, I'm all right, you know.
What were
They're
you going to
good.
say, Tom? Rebro?
I was saying, you guys were talking about the trickster today, and that felt applicable because I had like a really like promising lunch meeting today that turned into like a mountain of stress because somebody like impeded into the conversation and like completely pulled the rug out of the whole situation. And it felt very much like that. And it was interesting because like as that like stress came on, that carried over into like the rest of my day. Like my whole day derailed and had to like get it back on track. So that was interesting to say the least.
Well, and I think there's probably subconscious programs running underneath that. So,
Definitely.
yeah. So that's a gift, showing you what you're ready to clear.
For sure.
I want to comment on Sarah's, yes, astrocartography.
Oh, right there.
came up at work. Someone who doesn't even really do astrology. They're like, "You're into like rocks and crystals and all this sky stuff, right?" And I'm like, "I mean, yeah, you could say that." He goes, "Have you ever heard of astrocartography?" And I said, I have. How do you know what it was? And it was on TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok. So yes, it's up and coming, and
Trending,
it's
trending.
Every
Yes.
every time I mention astrocartography anywhere, people are like, "Ooh, that sounds really interesting." Like everybody's like really intrigued by it. Like, what? You can find your astrology on a map and where to go. It's like people are fascinated by it.
Yeah, they are. And it's catching a wave. So hopefully people will be able to, the thing like what Melissa was talking about. Sonia, hi, how are you? Good to see you always. Yes, it's there. And it's the maps module in SolarFire. And they have a good map. It doesn't zoom so friendly to me, but there's a keystroke thing that I'm just not following. But it's a very clean map. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't
So-
go down as far. But see, the same people build SolarFire that build Astro Gold. They're the same team. So maybe they'll get that in there. But all the upgrades
If
are on Astro Gold. I don't know why, but that's the way it seems to be. But yes, it has one, and it's a very good map. Very accurate. Yeah.
if I run it and it's the same, I'll like send you a screenshot for like verification.
Okay, do that. Yeah, for sure. Send me your birth info too when you do
As
that.
a side job,
Sure.
I think I want to become a travel agent on the side with astrocartography and offer people travel astrocartography. Like
Well,
here,
packages.
yeah, wouldn't that be
People
cool?
do it now. There are people that do that, and they do wedding destinations to be married on like a synastry chart Jupiter line, for example. So there are
Yes.
people that do that. Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that as my
Yeah.
side job this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody's
that would
just
be cool
imagining-
too. You could, sorry, Tom, you could give them
Yep.
tips about like what happened if they were on the Mars, like you said, and tips against those kinds of things too.
Yes.
Like, yeah, very cool.
I'm just imagining somebody's like Jupiter line going like through the country and just completely illogically driving on that line just because it's their Jupiter line.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And now with this new map, boy, you could stay right on it. I mean, you could, you'd have to that would be cool.
That's fun.
Somebody's asking, are we going to do a course? Yeah, I'm going to do an instruction video that will give you everything you need to know, at least to know what you're seeing and why you're seeing it. And that's the objective, is not just, here's your Jupiter line. Okay, yeah, but why? And then in contrast to what? Then at least you can look at a map and go, oh, because moving is a big decision. I mean, I wouldn't move to a line without consulting an astrologer if you wanted to base it on that. But if you just want to take a trip, like what Melissa was talking about, and exactly the outcome that she had, I've heard this over and over and over, that when people intentionally go to one of their favorable lines versus a challenging line, they have a problem. There was a comment in our Facebook group that Brenda. Let me drop the links back in again if you guys want to join in. There's a link for Facebook, and here's a link for YouTube if you guys want to join up. That I think she was based in New England, and every time she went to Chicago was one of her one of her challenging lines. And she said every time, I think it was Pluto, and every time something negative happened in Chicago. So she's like, unless I have to go to Chicago, I stay away from Chicago. Totally get it. I wasn't in St. Augustine 10 minutes, and I misinterpreted the chart as I went back and looked at it, but I wasn't in St. Augustine 10 minutes before my booth fell into the guy's wall, and then my exit point was stepping into the septic tank. That was a bad line. And it wasn't like a Saturn line. It was the poop line. It was aspects, and that's why I want to do a video to get you to understand the aspects, because that's what got me on St. Augustine. So anyway, if you guys want to join, pop in. We got room for more.
Sarah.
So
I was gonna say
Lynn,
I avoid Chicago, but it's not because of lines. It's just because to avoid Chicago.
that's like somebody in Dallas saying, "I avoid Fort Worth," and people in Fort Worth, "Oh, I don't even have to go to Dallas. I don't ever go to Dallas unless I have to." Oh boy, ah, that's great. Thank you, Caroline. Caroline and I are going to be kind of neighbors over the hill, over yonder. Be over yonder. There's Brenda. Maybe she made it. So, Lynn, when you have a challenging day, and Lynn has had some challenging days here in the past, she's had a little home maintenance project thing involved. We're not going to the toilet, but she's had to replace her toilet. So we got the septic
Plumber
tank.
out 8 times over
Oh,
4 weeks was ongoing.
man.
And then before that, septic, and yeah, so it's been interesting.
All right. So when you have a bad, a quote unquote bad day, challenging day, and it just keeps coming over like water over the bow, what do you do?
Well, I think probably the first thing I do is ask, how is this for me? I mean, because when you determine that everything is for you, the universe has to say yes. So that will be the outcome. Somehow this is for me. And really, I think with the skills that I've practiced with tapping and breaking the trance, it's become pretty easy to just kind of go with the flow and trust that everything is flowing perfectly. Even though my toilet wasn't flowing perfectly, something in there.
Most things are flowing perfectly.
Yeah, and there'll be a good outcome. So that's just basically what I do. Go with the flow. Just keep a good attitude. How can this be for me? There's something here for me to learn. Focus on other things that are great, and really in the big scheme of things, keep in mind that don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. So, yeah, pretty much.
Good. Brenda, how you doing?
She's there, but we can't see her or hear her.
I'm doing good. I'm trying to figure out how to work this thing. It's been a wonky day, but I have to tell you that I was so glad when I put into the chat that it was off. It had been like Tom and just wrecked the whole thing. And I'm just in awe. I just came and crawled into bed and put the 101 course on and said, Spirit, I got to go deeper. I got to go deeper. When we heard my daughter's going to have surgery again, another surgery on March 2nd, it snowed here and they canceled school. And so we have 5 days with no school. And I just went, you are doing all this for me. What a sweet, dark night of the soul. I'm so grateful for this tribe because for me, it's the only place I hear, how do you live in your highest timeline? And so I'm sitting here creating a move that I don't know where I'm going this fall, but all I know is there's something inside of me that says I'm moving, and I'm moving to my line.
Where's your line?
You're gonna laugh. I think it's just outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I don't know. I'm looking at it, trying to figure it out. It's all so confusing to me.
Well, hopefully Thomas will have his course done before the fall and
Oh,
it won't be confusing.
I'll put it in there and I'll have someone read it for me. I'll have someone read it. Plus, I think on Monday, Carolyn Horn, I meet with her for the Akashic Records.
Get
So
somebody that
I
has an iPhone and who has that app. Like Kristen said, she just got the app. So you might connect in the Discord group and
okay.
see if, get some people to look at it. The one thing I would say that would be really important with any major astrocartography decision is double, triple, quadruple verify it.
I love I love that you say that because my lines go all through Alaska and I spent most of my life there, and yet I look back at what looked like favorable. They weren't. They were like Mercury, or I would have put it as they were okay. And so I love that you say that, because that's been what's going through my head is I want to know that I know that I know that I can live to my highest timeline.
Mm,
And
mm.
and if it means that one of those lines is in Alaska and I have to go back, I'm going to have to sit with myself.
Well,
Really
see, okay, and Kristen is saying that there is a astrocartography channel in our Discord group under Fun
Oh,
Astrology. So
amazing.
the thing that the the thing that like what got me with the Florida decision was I just wasn't up on it enough to have made that level of decision.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I would
Mm-hmm.
say is I would want a lot of people looking at it from all of their understandings of it.
Right.
And even if they're right or not, I would run it through my own filter. And then, but I mean, hey, anybody who studied this and has an opinion, if you're getting ready to do what I'm doing and pack all your stuff up and get, move across the world,
Mm-hmm.
you'd want as much information about that as you could get. So
I love it because where I'm at right now is probably one of the most barren places of the soul I've ever been.
mm,
And yet such a good teaching ground, such a good um I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well,
You know,
so I was going to bring up that point because, Thomas, I don't think you would have been ready for California how many years ago. It's like you wanted to learn things in those other places, or maybe were meant to learn things in those other places. And just like you said, Brenda, where you are, you've learned so much. So, I think keep that in mind when you're making the decision. Sometimes maybe you're not ready to go to the Jupiter Venus line yet. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Thomas? I don't know that I'm correct. I'm just
Kristen's going to drop a link for everybody. Here's another interesting comment. I'll let you guys read these. So, probably at least a decade before my kids got out of high school, I was fulfilling my chart, even though at that time I had never, ever looked at an astrology chart because it was demonic in the old belief system. And I probably wasn't as attached to the old belief system at that time, but it just wasn't a bridge that I ever crossed. Stay away from that stuff. Well, so I had no idea, but I was fulfilling my chart because I had started to put together ideas and thoughts and plans that when my kids got up and out and they were at least self-sufficient, that I was wanting to travel. So this restless Thomas Miller that you've watched over the last 10 years has been by design. It was something I really wanted to do. It was deep in my heart and it's all over my chart. So I was just living out the reflection, as above, so below. You can't make this stuff up. It's going to find its way out. It's going to ooze through you one way or the other, whether you look at a chart or not. So I was just fulfilling how my soul was wired. And that happened when my son was in Houston working and my daughter announced that she was going to Europe for a semester of study. And I was like in Dallas going, So I set my sights on Colorado first because I've always loved the Rockies. Well, that led to then coming back to Dallas for a little bit and then, okay, I've done the mountains, let's do the beach. And it was all just experimenting. And then when the beach fell apart and I was still drying my blue jeans from the septic tank, I thought, where are the closest mountains to me right now? Of course, they were in North Carolina, and here I've been for the last, 3 years. So it's all been pretty much by design, but you are so right that every place has been its own unique learning experience. So it really has been just um, like stepping stones across a creek. And do you know that the reason I'm moving to California is who I stayed in Aspen with for almost 3 years? Full circle. Full circle.
And you didn't decide on that area based on the lines. You decided on the area and then realized, oh, there's my lines. So yeah, you
I
were
knew it was
led.
close. Yeah, I knew it was close.
Yeah.
But then I found out how close, and I was like, whoa, how could this ever work? I'm 10 and a half miles from the Jupiter line.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow.
I really think that people are being positioned. I mean, I come from rural Alaska, right near 3 military bases, and so we understand military. And hearing all the astrocartography and everything, and people positioning themselves, it's so ironic to me because we were always on high alert. And and then living out where we could see Russia just makes it, I love to see how people are being set up to live their highest timeline, and not just for themselves, but for the collective. And that's something that, again, it goes back to as above, so below, that it's like there's a yearning in us that we just can't get away from. I loved how someone put in earlier that everywhere they go, someone's talking about astrocartography. I hadn't even heard this word 2 months ago, I don't think. And so it's something that's going on. If we hear it, if we're hearing it, there's a reason that we're hearing it. If we're going through things, for us just to step back. For you, Thomas, you're right on your Jupiter line. I just can't even imagine how you're just going to explode right on your Jupiter line. So we're being led as a collective so that we can live our highest timeline in everything coming forward.
Can I piggyback on Brenda? And I feel like we are all connected for a reason. We've all met each other. We've all became friends. Some of us are like very close, like family members. And we all are, I say we're all light workers, and we are all shining our light, and it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we're spreading ourselves out across the United States. There's so many people that have been moving because we all can't just be in one area. We need to all spread out, and then our light gets bigger and bigger, and it's almost like sprinkling little flowers around is kind of how I view it. And the more that we are connecting and sharing stories, the more synchronicities that are happening, the more we are living our highest timeline, the more we are leveling up and we're helping each other, but we're also spreading it out more and more because our light gets bigger and bigger. And it's kind of cool how we're all around the United States and our light's getting bigger and bigger. And I just close my eyes and picture like all across the United States where we all are, our light is just getting bigger and bigger. And then it's all just going to merge together. Like I feel very, very deep within my soul. That is a big, big reason why we're all connected, and something that we are here to help and to heal.
I
That's good
concur
stuff.
to that because I see us as, if you remember the old days, the blue light special at Kmart, and that light that this car sales place would put out, and that blue light would be way out in the sky. And when I was in Austin and I would get done with Level Up or in working in astrology, That's always the image I saw, was this light that was just emanated out. And so the people who wanted to come in got to come in, but the others, they just passed it by. And so it's only for those who want it. But we'll keep on being that light.
Yeah, I love that idea of we're all being spread out across the world. Sarah, are you still with us by chance? And if you are, would you? I finally realized I was posting in the wrong chat. I was posting in Sarah's chat about what she's been doing in High Timeline Publishing, and I should have been posting in this chat. So now I've got it in the right place. But if you're in, I've just got a StreamYard link there. And if you're in, would you mind jumping in? And I'd like to hear about what you've been up to, especially in our own little group here. I'd love for you to, if you don't mind, I mean, if you can, and if not, no problem. But I just was wondering if you were available. That'd be cool. Sarah's been a busy little beaver here, and she's got some good stuff cooking. So let's see if she can pop in. Yeah, that's a great point. Stuff is shifting. It's shifting big time. I think a lot of us are feeling that, aren't we?
I do think it's interesting what Melissa's saying, because like from my experience talking to people, like we're somewhat nearby, but we're not right by each other. Like everybody seems to be kind of like spaced out, but in like at least a lot of the people that me and Melissa talk to are like in the Midwest area, but not right by each other. Like it's like I'm in Milwaukee, somebody's near Illinois, somebody's in Ohio, somebody's in Michigan. Like we're all like kind of like just evenly distributed across the area, not too close, but not too far either. It's kind of neat.
Sarah's saying that she can't figure out how to jump on. Sarah, if you click the link, it should, because I just freshly copied that, it should bring you right in. I don't want to do it because I don't want to mess up what we have going here. But then you just enter the studio and I'll see you pop up and then we can put you in. And if your audio isn't working, we'll figure it out once you get in here. But if you just click on that and then hit the enter studio, then it should bring you on in if you want to try. And if not, I'll kind of talk through and you can text in there and we'll get her done one way or another. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted her to hear, to share with you guys what she's been up to. So Lynn, subconscious mind. You work with this every day, like work with people with it every day. There she is. How big of a deal, in your opinion, is the subconscious mind?
Huge. It runs on autopilot 95% of our lives or more without us realizing it. So yeah, it's very, very important. We get what we believe, and our beliefs were formed primarily in childhood with a child's mind. So that's what's showing up today. So it's very huge.
So it is the operating system of the computer, isn't it?
Yep. And it's easy to update once you know how.
Would you like to update? Yes.
Yeah.
The correct answer is yes.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. Perfect analogy. Oh, man. All right. Then in your mind, because I know you listen to Fun Astrology, how do you, at least sometimes, I mean, how do you reconcile that programming with this shifting energy that seems to be reflected by the sky?
Well, I think we're always expanding. I don't know. What do you mean what do you mean by that?
So the subconscious programming is the operating system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then how does and that causes our responses, our reactions. It causes what we bring into our lives, even unconsciously, by that programming running in our unconscious, right? We know that.
Right.
And then we have these influences like Melissa goes to Denver and hits her Mars line, which was
Oh,
not,
well, I would just
yeah.
say, again, that's your energetic frequency playing out. You always get what you're vibing. So it is possible that if she cleared out some subconscious programs and went there, she wouldn't have that type of reaction.
So maybe it's
That's
a light, illumination, I guess, of something that could be in the subconscious.
yeah. Yeah.
That's a good loop. Yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good
And she
thought.
still might not have the best time there, but the
Well,
reactions would probably be different. Her
we're not going to make
interpretation.
her go just to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I will try all the things. I don't know if I could do one more time. It just was not great, but maybe one more time. Maybe.
No, because we react to things based on what's going on inside. So if she went there and she had certain things she was reacting to, if she had already addressed those, she wouldn't react the same way. Neither would her body, her physical, emotions, yeah. But we won't make you test that.
I think it would be, the thing that I think the adventurous soul would say is, I'd be willing to do the subconscious work, like what Lynn does, right? Clear, do some intentional clearing, and then go visit to try it. But I'm not moving there.
Right.
Like for example, Dallas is right on my Pluto line. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It's kind of in rags, but I got the t-shirt, don't want to go back. It's like had that experience. Let's go have a new experience, right? Let's go do
Hey, when
something
Thomas
else.
goes back to Dallas, I'll go back to Denver. I'll make that deal with you.
Well, I'm going back to Dallas on this trip, and I was just there, but you get in and get out quickly.
Yeah.
Hey, when I went back to St. Augustine, I'll tell you how strong that energy is. When I went back a year ago to see Cheryl over the holidays, I got sick the second within 48 hours of being there. And then when I went back this time to see her, I stayed at the same trailer, the same RV park, and they have one of those mechanical arms that goes up and down. And it's not a big, heavy one. It might have even been plastic. But the way that it sequenced, I almost got hit by that arm. I was like, okay, it's time to go. I've been here for 12 hours. I got to get out. It's like.
At this point, is it like anticipatory? Is it like wired in your brain that it could be a negative experience so that you go there and it happens?
Oh yeah. That's what we're talking about with Lynn. Sure.
Yeah.
And that could happen on a travel. Same thing for Melissa, right? It's like you have a bad experience, so that gets lodged. So you say, okay, me in Denver equals bad experience. Subconscious program.
So
Sure.
we would go in and process that memory, process that experience, and make it so there's no energy charge around it, and then give her brain new instructions. So when she went back, it would be like, piece of cake. Last time I had a great time. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
What's up, guys?
What's up with you? We hear lots of stuff. Tell us.
Just doing all the things, just running around. No, but I got all the things loaded for the publishing page, so it's going to be like a blog style, and it'll just kind of be, I wanted it to kind of be something where people could kind of check in every day and get their good feel of the day, kind of like a daily devotional, but just kind of introductory, high timeline living information that's good reminders for us, and then also stuff that's easy to share with new people that are maybe like the new awakened people that just want some like little information here and there. And then I think Kristen's going to help me with some astrological aspects every like once or twice a month to kind of bring that in because I don't have the mental capacity to do that. And she's going to help me with that. And then that can kind of tie in the other podcast. And then I'm going to feature some of the books on there. And yeah, I'm about to send all my marketing emails to all my potential clients tomorrow. And yeah, I got my first client officially today, and I got a whole stack of books for free, so that was cool. And just
Yeah.
living it day by day, just seeing where it takes me. So yeah.
Yay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is so great. This is so great. So, Sarah was working with Karma, which she still is. You're still working with the owners, right?
Yeah. We're just doing events now, not open to the public all the time. We're just open for specific events during the week. So
Karma
Oh,
was
good.
a store.
yeah,
People
the
might
boutique.
not know. Yeah.
Yeah, so Karma was the boutique I worked at in Blue Springs, and we're still selling stuff online. We're still doing things here and there. Obviously, with the Super Bowl, we're having another Chiefs themed event. But besides that, we're doing a lot of classes and workshops and events and different things like that. So I'm able to make money on the side doing events there, which is nice. And I still can sell my stuff out of there, which is nice. And then they're just always willing to help with all my new endeavors and everything. So
Well, that's awesome. Well,
yeah.
so what Sarah did is in the last couple of weeks. I mean, Karma went through January, and then she has shifted over to the area where I first saw her brilliance, and that is that she can drop a rock down in social media and get 50 people commenting about it, and that's a talent, that's a gift. And
Yeah.
so she's stepping into that gift, and she's going to be working on one thing for me in particular, and that is the new Facebook page for High Timeline Publishing. So and to be I haven't even gone on there and looked yet because I have been dealing with this. And when my mind shuts down, it just shuts down. So I'm going to get, I told her I'd catch up by the weekend. But Sarah, tell them how to find that.
So I was trying to tag the event or the page in the group and it wouldn't let me. So I just put the link, but it's High Timeline Living. And then, so if you look up High Timeline Publishing, it may pop up. But if you just do High Timeline Pub or Living, then it'll pop up. And I'm going to pin it into the group in our subconscious group so people can see it at the top. And yeah, that's pretty much the easiest way to do it. And hopefully when it starts, we have almost 30 people in it overnight. Thanks, guys. Good job. You listened. Good job. And yeah, so we have some commenting. The most important thing is to just share it with people and then interact on the page as we go. So every day it will release at 8 a.m. Central Time. It'll release like a new kind of little blog blurb or whatever is that of the day. I literally did it all last night. It was just flowing, so I just kept going. I was like, I'm not going to stop. This feels good. So it's all prepped and ready, and then I'll slowly just add in things with the podcast and relate it to that. But mostly we're trying to promote topics of the books so that we can get some new lessons on the books that way. So yeah.
That's great. Part of the idea behind High Timeline is that, I mean, how blessed have I been to be able to have worked with, the likes of Fred Dodson when he was creating the wonderful material that he did of levels of energy and parallel universes of self and reality creation technique and all those great. Now we're calling them the Fred Dodson classics on that page that are really the books. And it's only all the books of Fred's and the audio books are the books that change your life. It's not the other stuff that he's gotten into. These are the High Timeline books. And there's Chet, my buddy Chet helps me with all the videos that get posted, comes from Chet, he just helps. He just likes doing it. and he was
Hey, Chet.
pulling, yay Chet. He was pulling, yeah, because when you hear the podcast and everything on YouTube and whatnot, that's Chet. That he was pulling some sound bites from some of those old classic books, and he was like, "Man, there is some really good stuff in here." And I don't want, as time keeps going on, I don't want there to be that separation from those very evergreen books that collectively, when I started with Fred's first book in 2013, and by the time pretty much, I guess, that I had left Aspen and then into the Dallas, the return to Dallas and then Florida years, the focus, Fred shifted his focus, and it wasn't on that kind of radical life-changing material, and it wasn't coming from the same well. So it was like, okay, this is the stuff that literally changed my life night and day. But it was all of it, and it was the immersion in it. So I want to keep that alive. So that's one purpose. And then there's Steve Forrest with his astrology library that will be evergreen. And then I'm going to be doing a lot of writing and publishing this year. And so that's the platform for self-distribution. So that's kind of the reason why we're doing it. And I can't wait to see what Sarah does as far as creating conversations in there, because it's not going to be like our Facebook group for the podcast. It's going to be open to anybody. And that means anybody and everybody can pop in there and join. So yeah, Sarah, thank you for that. And I'm sorry I've been so not available since you sent me that.
You're totally fine.
Sorry.
I was blocking my own energy, and sorry, ignore my dog. Amy and Trevor were like, why are you saying no? Like, why aren't you sending your emails? And they were like, what's that telling the universe if you won't send your emails to ask for the sale or reach out to the clients? And so that was kind of like a slap in the face of like, okay, yeah, you're blocking yourself, so just do it. And so I did that, and I just wanted to get it out. But tomorrow I'm sending the big ones to everybody on LinkedIn and everything. So if you guys have LinkedIn, I have a new LinkedIn account. You can follow me on there, and I can promote or do whatever. So yeah.
That's exciting, Sarah. I shared it with probably 50 people, I think, yesterday. So I'm glad that we're getting the people up there. And there's a lot of people that aren't in the subconscious group that are interested in this. So it's going to be a great segue for people to kind of easily get into it without being overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I have it pinned at the top. I have the website pinned. I have Fun Astrology pinned. I have Subconscious Mind podcast pinned, and then I'm gonna pin the Fun Astrology website because that's kind of different. So I'd have that all on there. And I don't want to overwhelm anybody at the beginning, but I want to put out some content that is little tidbits here and there that kind of leads to all the avenues that everybody is interested in, I guess. So yeah, I just wanted to get it out. Same thing, I just wasn't making content, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, last night was the time, and it just all started flowing, and I was like, oh, this feels so good. And I was just like, I can't wait to show everybody. And now I'm just impatient, waiting for 8 a.m. every day, like, oh, what did I put today? So I think it's exciting, and it's just fun. So
well, thank you for all the work putting into that. I know it's gonna
I can't wait to check it out.
yeah, and I try to toy around with, sometimes it has pictures, sometimes it has, and I try to do a wide variety of people. So I try to do men, women, like all races, just so everybody feels included. And then also just sometimes it has pictures, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. So over the first 2 weeks, which I was kind of telling everybody, kind of evaluate what you guys liked the best or what you noticed people were interacting with the most, because the end of February, I'll go in and start making the content for the first 2 weeks of March. So if there's things you're like, oh, I really liked this was really good when I shared it, people really enjoyed it. So I'm wanting feedback from you guys of what you guys think worked well, or what was easy to share, what was good to share, what caught your eye, or anything like that. So that's kind of the feedback that I want for the next 2 weeks, to see what you guys think. So because if it's blog style, it needs to be a little longer, but I also don't want it to be like pages and pages long.
And when you
So how are you telling people that you want that feedback? Is that
Just you guys, just
Oh.
anybody I kind of like interact with that I
Okay.
know. Yeah, just like anybody in the subconscious group, like the private group, because you guys are the ones who know what content I'm shooting for. So just anybody who like is watching this, or people that I talk to, just whatever, anybody who feels just feeling it out. Not the people on the page, because those, who knows who they are, and I don't really initially care what they think. I want it to come from you guys to see if it fits true to what we want, because they don't if they're brand new, they may not know like what we really
stand for?
need.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
When you're liking and commenting and sharing, is that doing something again with the algorithm and pushing it and making it more?
Yeah, I think any interaction on a new post is good. So that's why I'll try to go in and I'll probably like it as Sarah, and then I'll also go in and like it as High Timeline and try to like respond a majority of the post, or at least respond on everybody's, like at least once on the comment, so they know there's a back and forth interaction. Because that's what Facebook likes. It likes when it has the interaction with things, and then it's like, oh, this is popular, so I should keep sharing this, or I should promote this more because people really like to interact on it, which is why I wanted to get everything loaded first and then tell you guys. And so then it's like a daily check-in, like, oh, what is it today? Can I share this with anyone? Yes or no? Okay, cool. Never mind. Moving on. And then just bebop around. Because that's what I do. I bebop. So
I know for the Facebook algorithm, when you like comment, when you like on a page, when you comment on like other people's pages, it directs them to it. I don't know if you can go with High Timeline and like comment in other areas, or whether it like, can you do that?
yeah, and I can add, like I can go to other groups and do that as well. So it's I can do it. I just have to follow other pages and sites. So if I go in and follow you guys or other pages, I think that would work too. And just kind of maybe once or twice a week go through and just kind of comment and tag and like other groups items, then I think that would be pretty helpful.
That was the number one thing that I was taught for the Facebook algorithm, is to like, when you interact with other people, it directs them to your content, so that instead of like being pushy, like they just come to yours, because that's the way the algorithm works. And I think that strategy works well for mine. I think it directs people to my page pretty good. And then also with like the length of the posts, if it's a concern, so we like to just do like the main point of your topic, and then you can like do the length, like the long part in the comments, so that people are, if interested, they can like read the full length.
I have a very short attention span, so what I consider long is like not long for everyone else. So I don't think that's too bad. I tried to make sure it has just like introduction, body, conclusion. But for me, if it's like over a few sentences, I'm like, next. So I tried to make it max for Sarah's thing. So I'm sure you guys will be like, yeah, that took me 5 seconds to read, but yeah, I didn't want to do like books. But then some people do like the longer content if it's something more detailed. So there's also one like about peace, and it gives you like 6 ways to introduce more peace into your life. So it's longer, but the content's very bullet points and very easy to read, and it's like just scannable real quick. So it's different things like that. Just kind of play around with more paragraph style, more bullet point style, and like more broken down in pieces. So whatever you guys feel that you like, or you're noticing people are commenting on, then I'll kind of evaluate it, and we'll kind of do it before we start the first part of March.
Exciting. Thank you for all that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. And I will catch up with you next week. And then I'm going to have probably 50 hours of windshield time. So it's like I'll have nothing but time. So it's like right now, none, and then a bunch. So we'll get caught up for sure. Well, listen, this has been great. This was spawned from a conversation that I was having with Lynn this afternoon. So, Lynn, thank you for being the inspiration for this. Yay.
Yay. I always
And,
enjoy chatting with you.
Well, I thought maybe why don't we go around, and those of you who are not on here, drop in the chat So tomorrow is Friday. We got the weekend. What are you going to do for the next several days to make your life one step higher amazing? Tom?
Yeah, I don't know. Do a lot of inner work. That's all I'm got. That's all. That's all I got. A lot of
Focus on
relaxation.
the inside. All right, good, good. Sarah, what about you? What are you going to do to level it
I've
up
been
one?
doing hot yoga 3 to 4 times a week, and it's helped with a lot of internal things. And I almost like cried the other day, which was cool because I'm like highly emotional, but not when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I felt proud of myself for the first time last weekend. So I think just being able to empower myself with and just being bold and brave with each new day, that's just been my goal every day, is just get out of my comfort zone. And yeah, so a few things, and not working for once on a Saturday, which is a first. So
Well, good. Make it a special day. And we've got, what, 15 people on here, I guess, right now. Let's all commit to pray for Mary Ross and her diagnostic test and the interpretation of it, okay? That she just has wisdom to know what to do. So, yeah, and then Kristen will be doing Level Up this Sunday night. So that's one thing she's going to be doing to stay amazing. Melissa, what about you?
Oh, I got a lot of good stuff. So my birthday's Saturday, so I'm kicking off the weekend Friday night with a massage. Saturday night having dinner with friends, and then on Sunday I have a Reiki session and chakra balancing, and then next week I have a reading with Robert.
Wow.
All good things.
Woo.
Wow. Okay. That's a birthday weekend right there. That sounds like a good one.
I'm not normally would go to Florida. I'm off all next week for midwinter break. And just was financially not in my, it was not happening. So I canceled that trip. So I made sure that I did some stuff that's going to make me happy here. So yeah,
Good.
I can't.
Cool. Lynn, what about you?
Oh, well, happy early birthday, Melissa. That sounds so awesome. I think mainly drink more fluid. I never drink enough water. But also just to see the divine spark in every single person that I come across, no matter how they show up, agreeable or disagreeable or, whatever, just to realize and see that beauty within them and let it flow.
Cool. Awesome. Good. And continue to inspire
Yes.
because you do.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
and
you.
Lynn has family coming in too, right? Next week.
Next week, yes, I have family coming in. I had family last weekend, the weekend before, all that with a commode out of order. So it's been fun.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What is it with Florida and this whole string of conversation? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Going to let go of all the worrying. Let the universe give me what I need, regardless of how it may seem or feel in the moment. Life is meant to change. I need to embrace it instead of trying to fix or understand it. That's great. Love that.
Yeah, I like that.
Who would that come from? That's from Sean Dale. Wonderful. That was beautiful. Beautifully penned. And that's was along the line of what I was thinking too. And Robert and I recorded this morning, and one of the we put my chart up a couple of times and looking at that, 3 planets on top of each other. And as we were talking in the beginning of this, reflecting energy, I just said one of the things that has not broken for me is the intensity that comes from that aspect. And it's the one thing that, that people who get closer to me have a hard time with, is that intensity. And it's like it's wired into my whole psyche. And you can't run from that, but at times like this, through a move, that intensity can get tipped out of balance. So what I'm going to do is just pull back the throttle. And I love, Lynn, what you mentioned earlier about when these things happen, to just approach it from where's the good in this for me? That this is for my good. So what? And as I was pushing with the intense pushing, maybe the universe is pushing back saying, you don't need to leave when you're planning to leave. Maybe you need to leave a little later. Okay. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. So good. Thank you. Thank you, Sean, for your comment too. That was great. All right. Well, Lynn, thanks for sparking this. This was cool.
Wow, thank you. I always enjoy you.
We'll
You
do
always
it
light
again.
up
We'll
our
do it some
night.
more.
Yeah. And all of you too. I love hearing, all your energy and what you're into and your hearts, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. We are all on the journey. That's one of the things Robert said. I about fell out of my chair up there this morning. He said, we were talking about a particular aspect, and I can't remember which one it was, but he said that, that the bottom line is that we are all on a journey in our souls. And I was like, oh, because he doesn't listen to the podcast. I'm like, you don't know how I end every podcast is, we are on a journey, and this is supporting each other on it. So that's great. Thank you. All right, Kristen and Alyssa, Sunday night. Thomas is going to be chilling and enjoying almost the last night in this place, and before I move to the van. So and then we'll see you from the road a lot. I got the coolest thing. It's right here. Hang on, let me show you this. This is like so cool. This is a 360 camera. It has a lens here and a lens here, and you shoot it like I've got it on a pole, so I can't really move it over here, but if I were shooting this, you shoot in the middle, and everything that is not wider than the camera, like this stick, is invisible. And I saw it watching a video this week when I was just crashing, of a guy that climbed Mount Everest with one of these and shot with this long selfie stick. You get this long selfie stick and you throw this thing behind you, kind of like this. And that camera is in essence taking a picture of a globe all the way around. Think of a globe and then turn the equator this way. And that's what you get from these two cameras. So if this was the equator, then here's a globe, half the globe over here and half the globe over here, and the software marries them together, and you get a 3D image. It is the coolest thing in the world. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this. A new lens on the world. How fun is that?
I love it.
Boys and their toys. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great weekend. Love you so much. Thanks for doing this tonight.
Thanks.
Thank
This was fun. We'll do it
Good night,
again.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bless it all.